Hello, everyone. It's that time again. Welcome to another Motivate Mix interview brought to you by Motivate Magazine, which is a global online publication with an international readership. For those of you who are new here, as usual, welcome. We welcome you. And for those of you who are returning viewers, welcome back. It's so good to have you here. The topic today is very, very interesting. So please stay tuned, get pen and paper if you must, make a copy before, watching the video, but you will be intrigued and you'll be hooked. So I'm Kadian Sterling. I'm a divorce and separation coach and mentor for women. And I'm joined here today by my wonderful guest, Ramona Stronach. So Ramona, you're an emotional freedom technique and matrix re-imprinter. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. And I must say, I have heard of EFT before, but the matrix re-imprinter, that's kind of new on me. So maybe that's a bit more in depth. So we'll get to the bones of that today, I suppose. So welcome, and it's so good to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. So tell us a little bit, Ramona. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay, so I actually trained twice to become an EFT and matrix re-imprinter because the first time I did my training with Carl Dawson, who created the matrix re-imprinting approach, it wasn't the right time in my life. And as with anyone, there's a perfect time, space for things to happen. So this year I launched my business and took the training out into the world. So
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
Brilliant. So the title, that emotional freedom technique and matrix re-imprinter is very, very intriguing. That's quite a phenomenal title. So can you just tell us a little bit more about what you do?
Sure. So with basically EFT is tapping on ends of meridian points on the body. So for example, there's a point and there's a pointer side of the eye. And what that does, it moves stuck energy through the body system. We are all energy and we're all connected by what is termed the matrix. And this theory is related to quantum theory and has been around since the 1940s. So Carl Dawson has kind of tapped into this, and through the matrix, we can connect with our younger versions of ourselves, and we can resolve problems that were created from our perception between the ages of 0 to 6 years of age, which is when we form all of our beliefs. So it's absolutely fascinating. So basically my role is to facilitate clients in their matrix to reconnect with their younger self, to help move them through any perceived trauma, to get some resolution about any non-serving life belief that is blocking them to success and potential and tapping into their possible.
Okay, so that sounds really interesting. So you go all the way back in order to move forward.
Yeah, we can do. We can actually move across the timeline with matrix re-imprinting. We can work with our past, our present, or our future echo. An echo is it's an energetic consciousness hologram, and it's another term. Kind of wrap your heads around it for your younger self, inner child, but not necessarily your inner child, because you could be working with an echo from a memory as a teenager or a young adult. Or a future echo.
Okay, so see, this is all fascinating. So I know I know what EFT is. I know what it is in sort of I don't know, like a huge surface understanding. So this is quite interesting, getting into the depths of it. But your article is called EFT for Business, right? And I've read it, and it is actually, for me, it felt like a really intimate article, actually. And I didn't look at business that intimately. I don't know about anybody else because it was new. And this is where I kind of, woke up and paid attention, because I'm like, oh, okay. So firstly, before we get right into some of the things you were saying, because you mentioned that, you know, that you treat your business like it's your partner because it's going to be serving you, looking after you and all that sort of stuff. So before we get into that, and I'll kind of leave that as a cherry on top for the viewers, how does EFT, how will that serve a business owner and their business?
Okay, so in business, we can often feel really stressed, burnt out. We can spend a lot of hours shaping our business, setting it up, keeping the momentum going. And with that comes a lot of anxiety and stress. So EFT can help reduce that intensity, but it can also look on a deeper level at what are the beliefs that are causing the anxiety and stress. What are the beliefs, for example, around, oh, I'm not good enough to set my business up. Who am I? You know, those little voices. And what I do is I help explore with the client, whose voice is that? Where's that belief come from? That how am I going to be successful in business? You know, little me kind of thing. So that's how EFT fits into that. It takes away the emotional intensity. And if you're working on a project that you're stuck, when we tap, an amazing thing happens. When the energy shifts, we tap literally into our deepest wisdom. We get clarity. And with that, we can make decisions that serve us and our business. And worry. So yeah.
Oh, we just lost you just like the last sentence of it. I think you just froze a second. But you were saying, you know, we can serve our business, and then you said something else, but we lost you there. Do you want to repeat that if you remember it?
So we can serve our business and we can make decisions that help us to do well in business, to get that successful project out there. Yeah.
Okay.
Wherever you are in the business spectrum.
It's going to be useful for us, you know, but I don't know. I mean, I keep sighing a little bit, but it's not. It's just fascination because I feel like I have a million questions running through my mind. I'm trying to pick the right ones to ask. But you said it's good to ask questions, you know, when you're kind of starting your business. It's good to ask such questions. The questions people usually ask, I know I ask, is how am I going to do this, about the money and about the time and about, is it going to be stressful, and you kind of bunch all the negatives in there. But a question that I saw in your article said something along the lines of, you can ask yourself, how much time are you really devoted, or have you, sorry, how much time are you willing to devote, something along the lines of, to listen to what you really yearn for in your business. So that's not a question that I don't want to speak for the population, but it's not a question that I think would pop up often in someone's mind. Like, what does my business yearn for? What do I yearn for in the business? You usually put that together for a desire. And I guess a business is a desire, but and it should make sense because it's also a passion, but we usually associate that with things like romance, relationship. So this is where it comes into, why is it so important to ask these sort of intimate questions, because they're very intimate questions, towards a business, as you would do towards a relationship?
Yeah, sure. So we are energy, and everything we do is an extension of our energy. And that includes our relationship, our business, our passions, our desires. So if we're feeling stressed and we use EFT to reduce that intensity, we can then ask the right questions. And if we don't spend, like, for example, am I doing the right thing? Does this business step feel right? Or do I need to go in that direction? Are these group of people right for me in helping me set up my business, or is this group of people? And when we make that space to listen to our internal state, it opens up on that external, and we don't have this resistance meeting us when we look at our beliefs. What's holding us back? What emotional blockages are there? Sometimes we're not even aware of them. Sometimes we're not aware of what belief is running the show in our subconscious mind until we get a block, like, oh, I've got no money for this project. Oh my goodness, anxiety. And it's like a vicious circle. So EFT stops that. Yeah.
And it's true, or you got one thing that you think is the major thing that's holding you back, but it's like the cover that's covering everything else. And once you see past that, then it becomes clear. But tell us a little bit, because I think, and I want to try and quote you here, it's clear that you treat your business like a significant other. We touched on that earlier. And you said it's like a partner in your life. And I must admit that statement it really did get my attention, because I thought, okay, let's see where you're going with this. But the more I read, the more I'm like, that is so true. That's very simple. It's almost like a really obvious thing that I should have thought of as a person, as a business owner, but I didn't think of it like that. So it's another way to look at it. And I really like a flip switch. I like when things are flipped and there's another perspective. And I haven't seen that in a very long time. So I want to thank you for that, because that just really, it really perked me up when I was reading it. So, so tell us a bit more, tell the viewers here or the listeners here a bit more about why it's important to treat as a significant others. And can you just touch on some of the points you brought up in the article, please?
Yes, of course. Yeah. So for me, my business is going to serve me. It's going to give me a quality of life that I would love, hopefully. It's going to give me connections. It's going to open doors for me. It's going to hopefully bring me aliveness, because what's important for me is connecting with my business. So if I view my business as a partner, a significant other, I want to connect with them, don't I? I want to ask them how they're feeling today. Are you feeling tired? What should we do that's different? Really, I'm asking myself these questions because I am the business. That's my energy. So I'm really having that dialogue with myself as I'm tapping on the points to find out, well, what else can we do? How can we make this work? Almost like a review. Like, it's really important to review our relationship. So why not review the relationship you have with your business? What's working? What can we do different? And as we tap on that, as we ask the questions, as I said earlier, the energy shifts if there's any blockages there, and we can just tap into that creativity aspect of ourselves a little bit more.
And can I ask you, so you say the energy shifts. What is that, like a particular feeling? How do people usually feel when they feel, some sort of release or shift? How do they usually explain it? Because sometimes people say, oh, you'll know in any sort of circumstances. How do you know? How would I know I'm doing it? Oh, you'll just know. So how would someone know that something has shifted once they've, gone through EFT or matrix reimprinting?
Great question. Okay, so as a practitioner, what we normally do is we ask the client to rate the intensity of whatever it is that they're feeling, the discomfort, the anxiety. 10 being the highest, 0 being there's no issue with it. After a few rounds of tapping, the practitioner will check in with the client to say, what would you now give that rating? And the aim is we want to bring that rating down to 0 wherever possible. And that is a great indication of the energy shifting. Sometimes a client might feel a sensation in the body, and we might be chasing that sensation around the body as we're tapping and giving a voice to the emotion underneath that sensation. Often clients report that they just experience this lightness, and you can see in the demeanor, the energy field, the face, they look and feel lighter. So clients report that. So you do know.
Okay, so you do know, because obviously the tension or whatever it is, it kind of goes down gradually. Okay, that's really interesting to know. So another question I have for you actually is, I know you said you've done this before, you've done the training before, but it wasn't the right time for you. And was it within the last year that you've come out with the business and everything? So I know that's during pandemic time.
Yes.
Roughly. How has that worked in terms of how have you been like coaching or working with clients in the pandemic? Because it's mostly been remote.
It is, yeah. So most of the work has had to have been online. So, which works perfectly, because the great thing about EFT matrix reimprinting, I don't actually need to be seeing you on a screen. I can actually do a call audio, but if the client would prefer, that is equally fine. So it's just as effective.
Okay, so something that can be guided, they can be guided through it, and then, you know, obviously having that sort of teach a man to fish for a day, or sort of, rather than give him a fish to eat for a meal or something. I know I have just butchered that saying completely, and I know it. So please forgive me,
I know what you
everyone.
mean.
Please forgive me, everyone. And if anyone wants to comment and tell me the right saying, which I'll probably know by the end of this, you're more than welcome to do so. So please forgive me out there in you know, in the internet. So is there anything, so for someone who might be watching this right now and thinking, I feel really anxious about my business, or I feel really stressed or really run down or something, is there any like a quick, not a quick fix, but is there anything, any sort of tapping they can do to kind of maybe give them some sort of relief so that they can be in a clear mind to seek someone like yourself rather than sitting there and just stewing in it? Is there anything you can show us?
Absolutely. Are you happy just for me to do a quick tapping round?
Yeah,
Just to show the tapping
absolutely.
points?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So if we're feeling stressed about a particular project, let's take that. So we tap on the side of the hand there and we do a setup statement. So if you just want to repeat after me, I'll just say, even though I've got this business project and I'm really stressed,
Even though I got this business project and I'm really stressed,
I love and accept myself anyway.
I love and accept myself anyway.
And I choose to be kind and compassionate to myself.
And I choose to be kind and compassionate to myself.
Right, and then just repeat after me. So tapping on the top of the head first, very lightly. This stress,
This stress,
all this stress.
all this stress.
Eyebrow point, just there. And we just keep giving the voice to the stress that we feel. So for example, I just can't deal with this anymore. It's bothering me.
And we say that I just can't deal with this anymore. It's bothering me.
Whatever is bothering you, whatever the issue is, you're giving a voice to that. Then we go on to the side of the eye. And you just keep repeating whatever you're feeling, whatever you're thinking. And then we go under the eye. This stress, all this stress.
All this stress.
Under the nose. Got this project and it's stressing me out.
Yeah, got this project and it is stressing me out.
Yeah, and then under the chin. But it's okay. I accept how I feel.
But it's okay. I accept how I feel.
Collarbone point. Even with all this stress, I accept how I feel.
Even with all this stress, I accept how I feel.
And then we go under the arm, just about 4 inches below the armpit. And we just tap there lightly. We keep tapping on that whatever we're feeling, whatever's coming up for us. And then we move back to the side of the hand. And that's like a really brief tapping round, okay? And you just keep repeating that process until that stress, till it depletes, till it goes. Sometimes as you're tapping, the intensity might go up. So you just tap on that and we're just bringing that score down. Remember the 0 to 10 that I said, 10 being it's really stressful.
Yeah.
You want to aim to bring it down to the 0 and
Yeah.
you can self-assess that. And as an EFT practitioner, I would bring in, so where is that stress feeling in the body? Let's have a look at that. You know, what's under that?
I must say it was quite calming. It was quite calming. I don't know if I'm any less stressed at this particular moment because I'm still doing an interview with you, but there is something about it where it's so you feel, or I felt rather, like I was comforting myself, which I guess is the whole point. But I must say I didn't go into it with that expectation. So I didn't go into it thinking, oh, I'd feel like I'm comforting myself or I'd feel calmer. I just went into it with an open mind. I didn't expect to feel better. I didn't expect to feel worse. But it's kind of like, and it feels a little bit addictive, actually. When you start doing it, it feels like you just want to just keep patting yourself down. So I think it's very interesting.
It's such an amazing tool. Even if you're in a big board meeting and you're nervous, you can just tap lightly on the sides of your fingers and no one needs to know that you're doing that. And it really calms the fight, flight response down. you know, in the amygdala in the brain, and it just gets your body to that state of relaxation. So, because when we're calm, we make the best decisions for ourselves. And the tapping is really important. So when we go into a memory, if a client goes into a memory and taps and visits their younger self, and that younger self is stressed, then they can tap on their younger self, because it's them calming their younger self down. And then they can seek resolution about what happened in that memory and what was the perception about life that that client made at that point that's not serving them. So,
Very,
yeah.
very interesting. So what I want to do, because we're going to wrap up in a minute, but what I want to do
Sure.
is just ask if this is completely new to someone who may not even know anything about coaching overall, what would what would be a good first step for them to take to embrace EFT or to know about EFT? Or is there any like nuggets or points that you think is very useful for people to know about EFT or matrix reimprinting?
Okay, well, firstly, it's such a gentle process. It can be used alongside any other treatments. It actually works even if you don't believe it doesn't work. So you just have to like give it a go. And if anyone would like to dive deeper into it, feel free to contact me at ramona@tapyourpossible.com, if that's okay to mention that. And we can have a 20-minute free consultation, and I can dive deeper into it with you if you've got any questions as well. Alternatively, there's lots of stuff out there on the internet if you want to have a look yourself. But yeah, try it, give it a go.
Thank you so much, Ramona. And it's, it comes across, your passion really does come across both in this interview and in the article. So I highly recommend. It's probably one of my favorite articles to have read, because it was just so different
Thank you.
to what, yeah, it was just so different, and it really piqued a different side of me. So I think if anyone's looking for just something to shake, just reading the article alone will do that. And a lot of the articles in Motivate magazine does do that for you, and there's something for everyone in there. So I would highly recommend that someone picks up the article, picks up the magazine, or join the online publication and just get to know a lot more. There's so much more to coaching, there's so much more to calm you, especially in this turbulent time. So thank you so much, Ramona.
You're
Thank
very
you for that.
welcome. Thank you.
That's okay. So guys, for more information, or if you'd like to join Motivate magazine, please go to motivatemagazine.com. So that's M-O, the number 2, Vate, V-A-T-E, magazine.com. Or if you want that broader sense of community and you're looking for an online family, tongue twister, then you can also join the Facebook group, which is also Motivate magazine. So you can just go into that and join us, and we'll love to see you there. So see you all on the other side. Thank you so much for joining me for this session. Thank you, Ramona.
Thank you.